If you live in South or Central Texas, listen very, very closely. It is time. What's up, guys? I'm Rhett. Welcome back to Lawn Insider. So it is February 25th, and you can see that the green is pushing and the dormant grass is now receding. And I've taken a good look at the 10-day forecast, and we don't have anything that comes even close right now to freezing temperatures. So it is a great time if you live, let's say probably Waco and south of Waco. And honestly, if you're in Dallas, I would go ahead and take a look at your forecast too, because you might have a pretty favorable forecast for your lawn as well. But it is the perfect time now to go ahead and scalp your Bermuda lawn. And this video might come as a shock to some of you, just the timing of it, because typically we're going to put out our pre-emergent before we go ahead and scalp our lawn. And normally I would do the same, and I really should have already had my pre-emergent applied, but my yard is so green at this point that I think I'm going to go ahead and reverse those steps. I'm going to scalp, and then I'm going to apply the pre-emergent. And I've never been one to really worry about breaking the pre-emergent barrier. Sometimes you'll hear people say that if you scalp or aerate or do something like that, closely following your pre-emergent application, that you will essentially poke holes in that barrier and allow weeds to germinate. And that's actually not the reason that I'm reversing the order. It's purely just this weather cycle we've had, because we pretty much skipped the preheat stage and we went straight to spring, warmer temperatures. And my yard has responded in kind, and it is so green right now that I want to go ahead and get this scalp over with so I can get to the fun part, which is just the regular mows. But this is going to be a classic do as I say, not as I do right now, because I'm not going to be able to scalp this weekend just because I'm so busy right now. If you don't know, if you are new to the channel, or maybe you haven't caught one of the videos where I mentioned it, I am a teacher and a football and baseball coach, and baseball season is now in full swing. So we are in tournament mode right now. And during tournaments, you are not only obviously practicing and playing games throughout the week, but you're also playing games on the weekends as well. So time is at a premium, you know, just as much as ever. It feels like I am always struggling to have enough time in the day to do the things that I need to do, especially out here in the lawn. But if I could, and if I would have had another day in the weekend this weekend, I would have gotten out here and scalped. Now, what I did instead was I just came out here and mowed at my regular height of cut, which is about a ½ inch. And you can see, like I mentioned, that we have the green pushing, the dormant grass is receding, the shadows are starting to shift now as our days are slowly but surely getting longer. And before you know it, this entire lawn will be green. So obviously the choice is yours, but you have the opportunity right now, if you go ahead and scalp now early in the season, to really actually green up your lawn even before my lawn, because I'm not going to be able to have the chance to scalp till at the earliest next weekend. So here is what the front lawn is looking like. And you can see that the front lawn is actually pretty much completely green already. I would say it's probably at about 90%, because we still have, if you stand right over it, we still have some areas where you can see some of that dormant grass. But overall, the front yard is not nearly as affected by the shadows as some of those areas in the back lawn. So if I were you right now, if I was a Texas homeowner and I was living in the southern half of the state and I haven't applied my pre-emergent yet, I would go ahead and try to do the same thing. I would come out, scalp first, and then as soon as you get rid of all that dormant grass and that top layer of growth, go ahead and apply your pre-emergent after. And what that is going to do is it's going to set you up for success on multiple fronts. For one, you're going to have already scalped, so any new growth you have from that point moving forward is going to be visible, meaning you're going to start to see your yard green up faster than the folks around you that have not scalped. And then pre-emergent, what that's going to do is just create a weed barrier for your lawn. And it's not going to completely eliminate weeds. It's not going to kill any of your existing weeds. But what it will do is help you fight off some of those future weeds that might show up in your yard. That's why it's called a pre-emergent. And if you look at your forecast, like I looked at my forecast, and for me, the lowest lows that I saw were actually in the 40s, and that's for the next 10 days. And if you're used to Texas, and naturally this goes really for anywhere, especially up here in the northern hemisphere, as we push further into March, temperatures aren't typically going to drop. Now, that doesn't mean there's no guarantee that we're not going to catch a random freeze that comes mid-March or late March, because every once in a while that does happen as well. But if we're just playing the percentages here, we are okay to go ahead and pull the trigger on this scalp. So for those of you that are unfamiliar with the terminology of a scalp, or really what the purpose of a scalp would be, what a scalp would do is you're going to drop whatever mower you have to the lowest setting that you have, and you are going to cut as low as you can. You really want to make sure that you're cutting at a lower setting than what you plan on maintaining at throughout the rest of the season. And what that's going to do, it's going to remove this dormant layer and then this brand new growth that we have that's popped through, and it's going to allow the soil underneath and the stolons underneath to go ahead and heat up more quickly. It's going to be easier for water to access. It's going to be easier for those nutrients to get down there into the root zone so the grass can access it. And it's going to allow us to have a quicker green up than those people or the neighbors around you that choose not to scalp. And if you watched the channel last year, then you know that I actually skipped my spring scalp. And I still had a really nice lawn in April and May, but when we got to June and July and those hotter summer months when the Bermuda really takes off, my yard got too spongy. And I think that that was partly just because I never brought the verticutter out, but I think primarily it was because I did skip that spring scalp. So there was just too much material between the soil layer and between my mower, and I started getting that kind of skating effect that happens when your grass gets too thick and you can't make solid contact between your mower and the ground, and it kind of skates on top of that really thick turf layer, and sometimes that results in scalp marks. So this year I am definitely going to scalp. So the last little word of wisdom here, if you do go ahead and pull the trigger and scalp before I come out with a scalping video, which hopefully is in the next week or 2 weeks, just whenever I can find time to actually get in the lawn and do it, you do want to, one, like I said, mow lower than you are planning on maintaining at throughout the rest of the year. And then number two, you want to make sure that you are getting rid of your clippings. You don't want to keep all that dormant grass on top of the scalped grass, because that's going to defeat the purpose of your scalp. So you want to get all of that basically dead matter material out of the way, and you want your soil layer and your stolon layer to get as much sunlight, water, and nutrients as possible. So make sure you get rid of that material. All right, y'all, I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up right there. Do not be afraid to go ahead and pull the trigger and get a leg up on your neighbors and your neighborhood so you can have the nicest yard on the block this year. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave it a like. If you're enjoying the content and you want to continue to see more of it, hit that black subscribe button below the video. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave those in the comment section below. I'll see y'all again soon. Lawn Insider out.